Hi, welcome to the class of Endocrinology and Reproduction. I am Mahendra Baby, Assistant Professor of Zoology. In this session, we are going to discuss about the thyroid and parathyroid gland, the morphology of these two glands, the hormones secreted by these two glands, and the role of those hormones. In the previous class, we learned about the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is called master gland. This produces the stimulating hormones that stimulates the other glands to secrete the hormone. The pituitary gets stimulated by a releasing factor secreted by the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus secretes a releasing factor. This releasing factor stimulates the pituitary. So pituitary is called master gland because it controls the other gland secretion. Coming to the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is located at the front of the neck just below the Adam's apple, that's nothing but larynx. It's a butterfly shaped structure with two lobes. The two lobes are connected by a isthmus on either side of the trachea. The thyroid gland is composed of two different kind of cells called follicular cells. They are composed of glandular follicular cells. They are also called vesicles. These vesicles are lined by the cuboidal epithelial cells. The thyroid vesicles are filled with the colloidal material called thyroglobin, which is the precursor for synthesis of the thyroxine. So this is the structure of thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is located at the front of the neck region just below the Adam's apple or trachea. It is a butterfly shaped structure consists of two lobes which resembles the shape of the wings of butterfly. Okay, so it's present on either side of the trachea. At the posterior surface, the another gland called parathyroid gland get embedded in a thyroid gland. Okay, this is the histology of thyroid gland, which consists of cells called vesicular cells or follicular cells. The follicular cells are lined by another kind of cells called parafollicular cells. Okay, the thyroid is composed of a closely packed spherical cells called follicles. There are two kind of follicles. One is follicular cells and parafollicular cells. The follicular cells has a colloidal material that helps in secretion of a thyroxine and triiodothyronine. The secretion of thyroid hormone is regulated by a stimulating hormone called thyroid stimulating hormone. The thyroid stimulating secretion is regulated by a TRF or thyroid releasing factor produced by hypothalamus. The hypothalamus produces the TRF factor. The TRF factor stimulates the release of TSH by a pituitary. The TSH in turn stimulates the thyroid gland to release the thyroxine. When there will be a fall in the basic metabolic rate, the hypothalamus releases the thyroid releasing factor. This thyroid releasing factors acts on pituitary to produce the thyroid stimulating hormone. The thyroid stimulating hormone released from the pituitary stimulates the thyroid to produce the thyroxine. Thus, thyroxine increases the metabolic activities and brings to normal. Due to negative feedback mechanism, that means when body comes to normal metabolic rate, due to negative feedback mechanism, the TRF factor is inhibited. When there will be inhibition of TRF factor, that inhibits the secretion of TSH. When there will be inhibition of the TSH hormone, there will be inhibition of the secretion of thyroxine. Coming to the role of thyroid hormones, T3 and T4 hormones, that is called triiodothyronine and thyroxine hormone, influences the heat production in the body, that is called calorigenic action. They are necessary for physical and mental development. They influences the metabolism of protein and carbohydrates. They maintains the calcium and phosphorus homeostasis. Example, calcitonin. They maintain the calcium homeostasis, whereas parathyroid released by the um, parathyroid gland that maintains the phosphorus homeostasis. The normal texture of skin is maintained by thyroxine hormone. The normal development and functioning of gonads was also influenced by thyroid hormones. Calcitonin maintains the calcium homeostasis. Coming to thyroid dysfunction, due to hyposecretion of thyroid hormone results in the condition called hypothyroidism. That is nothing but the thyroid glands fail to secrete a normal amount of thyroxine. That condition is called hypothyroidism. The hypothyroidism results in the causing a disorder called cretinism. It's also called infantile hypothyroidism. In cretinism, the physical development is retarded. The symptoms of cretinism is there will be dwarf with mental defect and the issues of protruding tongue and disproportionately dentition. So these are the common symptoms of cretinism. It occurs in children or infants as the name infantile hypothyroidism. The second disorder is mixed edema, which is caused due to the less production of thyroxine in adults. Remember here, cretinism occurs in infants, whereas mixed edema occurs in adults. The main symptom is decrease in the metabolic rate. The symptoms are edematous appearance, dryness of skin, and disability in thoughts and speech. The oversecretion or hypersecretion of thyroid causes a disorder called hyperthyroidism. This is also a thyroid dysfunction. The hypothyroidism is nothing but the thyroid gland secretes an excessive amount of a thyroxine hormone that also causes thyroid disorders. There are two disorders caused due to hypersecretion. That is, one is Graves' disease. It is caused due to excessive secretion of T3 and T4 hormones. The symptoms are prominence of the eyes, that is nothing but exophthalmos. There will be bulging of eyes. The condition is called exophthalmos. The common symptoms are protrusion of eyeballs, less twinkling of eyelids are the common symptoms of a Graves' disease. Then another disorder is called simple goiter or non-toxic goiter. Due to non-inflammatory of thyroid gland, there will be enlargement of thyroid. The impaired thyroid hormone synthesis results in inadequate supply of iodine. The simple goiter is also known as endemic goiter, which means insufficient supply of iodine results in the enlargement of the thyroid gland. So those thyroid glands becomes enlarged and causes a condition called goiter. That's called simple goiter. And the another gland is the parathyroid gland. So the parathyroid glands are the four oval bodies situated on the posterior surface of the thyroid lobes. Histologically, the parathyroid gland is composed of two different kind of cells. One is called chief cells, another is called clear cell or water clear cell. The main function of chief cell is to produce a hormone called parathyroid. The chief cells are rich in glycogen and they secretes a hormone called parathyroid. The function of water clear cells is not yet known. Coming to the biological role of the hormones. The parathyroid regulates the calcium and phosphorus homeostasis and also they involved in the vitamin D metabolism. They are also responsible for the increase of calcium serum in the blood by reabsorption of calcium from the osteoblast. They are responsible for the eggshell formation in egg-laying animals. The deficiency of the parathyroid The deficiency of the parathyroid causes the decrease of calcium level in the blood. The hypersecretion of the parathyroid results in the decrease of bone density, that is called hypercalcemia. Coming to summary, thyroid gland is the bilobe structure located in the neck region on either side of the trachea. They have two lobes. The thyroid gland secretes a hormone called thyroxine and calcitonin. There are two functional hormones thyroxine hormone, that is the T3 and T4. T4 is the functional hormone whereas T3 is the reservoir hormone. The parathyroid gland is the embedded gland found on the posterior thyroid. The thyroxine regulates the body metabolism, hence the thyroid gland is considered as personality gland, and the thyroxine hormone is called personality hormone. The calcitonin and parathyroid regulates the calcium homeostasis and increases the bone density.